Welcome to You Are Not Alone. This is a safe place to explore all things spiritual and beyond. I am spiritual medium Erica Gabriel. Hello. Welcome to You Are Not Alone. How is everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in your day. I'm so happy you're here. Thanks for having me in your ear and being a part of this podcast and being a part of this really special community of spiritual seekers. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for all the positive feedback. I'm just going to tell you right now, if you can go on Apple Podcasts and rate this podcast or leave me a comment, I would love it. Just so that when other people find this podcast and find this community, they read your review and they're like, oh, I think these are my people. So thank you for doing that. And I just wanted to get that out of the way in advance. I hope you guys have been enjoying my how-to series. So the how-to series is, people ask all the time, like, I feel like my house is haunted. How do I fix it? I feel this, I feel that. How do I do this? How do I do that? Right. And in terms of the spiritual realm. And for me, it's kind of awesome to have the podcast and now, this how-to series, because I can be like, I can help you with that. Here's a link to that podcast that talks about hauntings. Do you know what I mean? So it's very good because I can't, if someone DMs me like, how do I clear my house? I can't just, write for the next hour on how to do it, but I can say like, here's a link. I'll tell you exactly how to do it. So I've been enjoying having these. I know you guys have too. Thanks for your feedback. It's been great and hopefully very informative. There's just so much information just after, working with spirit and talking to spirit every day for 17 years. I just have a lot of information and I really want to share it. So I'm grateful to this podcast that it gives me opportunity to do that and just give you this information, give you these tools so you have them. And, even if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, I don't want to do that. I don't want those tools, but I just like hearing about it, then that's awesome too. Just take what you will from these podcasts. So basically, I have been thinking about cutting toxic ties and connections to people, places, things, but let's think about people on this one. And I was reflecting and I'm like, I literally think I've done a very similar podcast to this before about cutting toxic ties. This one is different. I want to give you some other ways to look at it. Remember, you can hear a spiritual concept and then hear it again and again and again, even years later, and you will have a different perspective on it. Right. So I always say, like, I've heard spiritual concepts, 20 years ago that I'm still processing and still working with. It's so often, spirituality is not a mastery, right? It's learning, it's lessons, it's reflection, it's growth. It's so many different things. And you guys are all spiritual seekers. So my invitation is to kind of listen to this podcast. And if you have connected with, cutting toxic ties before through this podcast, I hope that you hear something here in a different way. And I've asked my guides to help us so that I can talk about it in a different way. Because my God, guys, I have to do this podcast because we are seriously stuck. We are stuck in a rut, in a rat race of allowing outside forces to completely control our lives and our happiness. We're just stuck. And I see it every day. It's like, I need to do this episode. So again, hope you hear something today that serves you and that maybe you hear it in a different way. I mean, I think about things that I heard Michael Beckwith say when I was like 22 years old, and I'm still looking at it in a different way, looking at it in my 30s, looking at it in my 40s, looking at it from different perspectives as I grow and change. So this one is meant to be. And if you're hearing this, you need this. You need it, and I hope it serves you. So first of all, we're all really struggling with toxic ties. People are very, very, very upset with what's going on in the world. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. By the way, I really don't. I really don't care. I used to be very like militant in how I thought about everything, and things have shifted and changed so much. But that's a whole nother podcast that I probably will never do because why would you give a shit what the medium thinks about politics, really? You know what I mean? But all that to say, Democrats, Republicans, non party affiliate people, whoever, you're all welcome here. All welcome, welcome, welcome. So, because spirit's for everybody, and so is God, duh, right? Um, but the idea is that I don't care what you are, people are freaking out and really, really upset by many things. There's many things happening that people are very, very upset. Wars, people's rights being taken away, um, just all kinds of stuff. And it's really, really, really hard, especially when it's things that, you really care about, or it's affecting people that you really care about, or, whether you have people in the White House that you love or you hate them, it all can be very, very intense. So even if there are actions being taken that you support, there's still just so much, strife. Whether you like what's going on in the world or whether you don't, there's just so much strife and we all feel that. And what I'm seeing is that people I'm like, "How are you?" And it's like, "Oh, well, I don't know. The world is a shit show. Everything's turning to shit and this and that." And they're really, really letting it take them completely down. And I have fucking been there. Oh my God. Oh my God. And it's normal. It means you're compassionate. It means you care about humanity. It means you care about your life. It means you care about our society and laws. It's normal. We should be compassionate beings. Totally, totally normal. And if you are going, well, what's the fucking point of life? What's the point of living? What's the point of my life? Like, wow, I'm making great money and chasing a career and there's people dying. Or wow, I have beautiful, healthy kids and there's kids dying. You know what I mean? Like, you're letting it take away any gratitude or peace that you have. And that has become very, very toxic. So that is something that we are seeing so much. So much. Okay. It's big. So this may serve you just thinking about cutting some of those toxic ties, even if you just give yourself a little break, because that can become very toxic. Then I'm also seeing and by the way, managing that and how to stay grounded in your life and compartmentalize things in a healthy way so that you can continue to be in your gratitude and move through your life. That is a very spiritual practice. And again, it's not ignoring things, but it is the ability to continue to stay present in your life as well. So that's a big spiritual practice. So then the other thing that I'm seeing a lot of is people in situations that they cannot physically get out of, very toxic situations that they cannot physically get out of. And their just whole life is just, they feel miserable. So let me give some examples. Their boss or someone they work with, very, very mean, or they're just condescending to them or challenging them or hanging them out to dry in front of bosses, like whatever it may be. Um, So that's happening and they cannot quit their job. First of all, they like their job and they need to pay their rent or whatever. They're not quitting. And so what's happening for them is like they're going to work, they're not doing as good of a job because their confidence is low regarding this person, and they're not doing as good. They feel bad about themselves. They're having imposter syndrome. They come into work with negative attitude, and it's just kind of taking over everything. And then they go home, and then they're upset because they're not doing as good of a job, and then they're kind of mean to their family, and like it's spiraling. It's spiraling. I have a lot of people in lawsuits, guys. A lot of people call me in lawsuits, a lot. And it's so detrimental to their health because they're so angry at the person that they're in a lawsuit with. And I've read for men, women, young, old, lots of different people in lawsuits, or perhaps lawsuit with family. And they are stuck on, why did this person do this? How could they have done this? And they're spending a lot of time stuck on this person. And their whole mind is about this person and why this person did this. And is this lawsuit going to take? And like just so much around this person that they hate. And that's their life. And it's toxic. And they're no longer enjoying their family time or whatever because they're just, how could this person do this? I'm seeing that a lot in divorces as well. So I'm seeing people that are, you know, divorced and they just can't live their life because they're just so distraught by the actions of the other person. And it could even be years down the line. And they're still just like, why did he do this to me? Why did she do this to me? By the way, all reasonable thoughts and behaviors. I had a business deal gone very bad, which is very foreign to me. I'm not like a drama person. You know what I mean? I'm not like a person that's constantly losing friends or having falling outs, or I'm just not that person. I have other issues. But like my best friend is still my best friend from when I was 10. Like, I cherish and hang on to friendships. Like I just don't have a lot of drama. And I had a business deal go so bad. It was so bad. And they stole a lot of money from me. I'm a teeny tiny one woman business. Like I'm not like Amazon. Even then that's wrong to steal from Amazon, but like and you're just like, why would someone do this to another person? You know what I mean? Um and had to work so hard to cut those toxic ties. And they rear their ugly head at me sometimes, and I have to go back to practicing it cuz it's just very painful. So, listen, this is very normal. I don't know if I'm normal, but I'm saying, like, don't feel bad about yourself. You know what I mean? Don't feel bad about yourself, you guys, please. This is normal. So I've seen the lawsuits, I've seen the divorces, I've seen business deals, and it's just bad. And I've also seen people that are living with someone that is so toxic to them. And they're just like, what am I supposed to do? Like, my life is horrible because of this person. And then you're like, well, move. Well, guess what? Not everyone can just go and move. You know what I mean? Isn't that funny when sometimes people say stuff like that? Like, I'm like, I hate my kitchen. Oh, why don't you renovate it? It's like, because I can't right now. Like, there's not like, sometimes people just say these solutions and you're just like, bro, like, I can't do that. Like, I have to find a way to make this work. I have to find a way that my kitchen isn't this toxic, hellacious place for me. You know what I mean? Like, so anyway, so the idea is, we can find ourselves in very toxic situations and, people can say, oh, just let him go. Oh, let her go. Oh, release it. Oh, just move out. Like all of these things. And it's like, I get it. And I get that I could just quit my job, but like, no, I really can't. This is what I want to be doing. This is my job and this is how I afford to live. Right. So it's not always so easy as just getting things out of our space and just letting it go. And so the other thing is like, remember, we can have toxic ties to someone we don't even speak to. We can have toxic ties to someone that's like in the past that we haven't talked to in a decade. Isn't that a funny thing? Why is that? Why is that? Why? We have maybe we are estranged from a parent or a family member. And it's like we keep replaying these situations with them over and over and over again. We don't even talk to them anymore. We don't even speak to them anymore. They don't know us. We don't know them. We may not even know where they live, yet they live so alive in our brains, in our energy space. They are alive and well. And you know why? Because we are doing it. We are keeping the connection alive. Even if you're living with someone, we are keeping this toxic acid that they're pouring on us alive because we're continuously letting it control our life. Isn't that annoying? Yet again, something we have to do to work on ourselves, and it's exhausting. It is. But this is about you and your journey, not about them. Some of the most horrible situations are our biggest teachers. I'm going to say that again. Oh, by the way, it's 11:11. Yay. 11:11. Some of our biggest teachers come out of sometimes the worst situations. They show us who we are. They show us what we're made of. They show us how powerful we are. They make us dig deeper into spirituality so we can figure out a way to find our peace, even in a toxic situation. But if your life, your mind, your health, your happiness is being destroyed by someone else, you have to find a way out of that. You have to. Or else, guess what? That person is now your guru. You're worshiping them. That person is now your master. You have an agreement with them that they now control you. Isn't that the shittiest thing ever? You don't want that person to be your master. That person sucks, or whatever it may be. Oh my God. But the idea is there are ways that you can work on it. So basically there are ways that you can work spiritually to help decrease or cut the electric charge that you have with this situation or this person, to cut the connection that you have kept there and you've continuously fed with your anger, with your resentment, with your fear, with your constant questioning of why, which you're probably not going to get an answer for. And when you start to drop those ties and cut those ties, you will then know that this is now down between you, and you are growing spiritually, and that you will have to heal it within yourself. And it's very, very challenging. It's simple, but it's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. So let me tell you a little story. Let me tell you a tale. When I was thinking about this on my walk this morning, my guides flashed on this image of me in my early 20s sitting in a Buddhist temple. There's a beautiful Buddhist temple in Los Angeles. I forget where. I couldn't even remember where. But they allowed you to go in and meet with one of the monks and meditate and then give you lunch for free. I'm like, oh, free lunch. I was like in my 20s. I had no what did I have? I like a artichoke randomly in my fridge that I was under some illusion that I was going to steam and melt butter and make like a dipping artichoke that just sat there and rotted for 2 weeks. Anyway, so I'm like, great, free lunch. So we go, and I'm with my sister as well, and we go into the temple, modest place, and we're sitting in one of the I don't think they're pews, benches. Let's say benches. I think pews are Christian, right? Um, and the monk was a female monk, and she wanted to do a meditation with us, which really brought forward this very powerful idea of Buddhist ideology, which is sending things love. Okay. So sending things that upset you love. And so she had us sit there and bring up in our mind's eye someone that has deeply hurt us, really, and a challenging person in our life. And she wanted us to create this funnel of love towards that person. So you pull them up in your mind and you pour love onto them. And through love, it will decrease that anger and that hate. And through love, it will start to heal whatever toxicity is there, right? So it doesn't mean you have to go and buy them flowers, but it's an energetic thing. And I remember sitting there and I brought up the person in my mind's eye, and she was like, now start to channel the love. And I was like, nope, not gonna happen. Sorry. And I couldn't do it. All that came from me was just bitterness and anger. And I think pouring love and loving energy on something that is so toxic is so powerful. And so empowering. It's like you are such a shithead, but I can still pour love onto you. I don't accept your toxicity. I don't accept what you're spewing at me. All you will get back is love, even if it's someone you don't talk to anymore. Like, and she wasn't saying, like, no, go to this person and buy them presents. It was just for your own spirit, because this person has activated resentment in you and hate and anger. Don't let them do that. Pour love on them. And couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. It's beautiful. It's probably the right thing to do. And listen, if you listen to this podcast and you get off and you're like, I tried that pour love on them, like recall them in my mind. And I just started shooting white light and purple healing and pink and just love and forgiveness on them. And it worked. That is freaking dope. Yes, do that. Do it over and over again until you think of that person and you feel nothing for them because you've done nothing but give them love. If you can do that, you are spiritually on a whole nother path in terms of this stuff. And that's beautiful. I was unable to do that in my 20s. And I realized as time went on that the openness for me to love, I had to develop a way to move some things out of the way, because my own darkness towards that person, God, this is very personal, but my own darkness, my own anger was so strong that I had to find a way to release some of that or visualize that first to create space for who I truly am, which is a loving being. And that's when I started to work with the visuals of cutting the ties, because cutting to me is very an intense thing to do. Um, Listen, this is personal. Was my journey, but it's worked. I mean, I've done this task with people who had stalkers, and this worked because they couldn't get them to stop, but they could work on cutting ties within themselves, which actually energetically affected that person. Um, so I kind of developed out something else that I felt was really useful, since the love, I was blocking myself. And listen, when you feel so much resentment and so much anger towards someone, those feelings are usually masking hurt and sadness. Those feelings are usually the outer layer of what's real, which is hurt and sadness. And if you can go in and hold yourself and create space for yourself and not abandon yourself in your sadness and hurt, and be there for yourself, and then get into the love because you're giving yourself love, and then you can share some of that love, you can begin to loosen the reins of this toxic tie. Okay. I hope this is making sense. I want to talk to you about some visualization to work with cutting some of the toxic ties, which when you do that, you can then create a little more space for you to then hopefully channel and send some love or positive energy, because light completely will drive out the darkness and love is light. So if you can get to the place where you love yourself and you acknowledge your hurt, you can then shine some of that out in a light-filled way, and light will drive out the darkness. Haha. Okay. Okay. So share this with someone that's going through a divorce, or that's, going through a horrible boss, or that whatever it may be. Okay. So let me tell you what the visualization is. So what you're going to do is choose a time that you're going to do this work. Okay. So a lot of what we talk about is not overcomplicating things. Like when we talk about visualizations, or we talk about meditation, or we talk about breath work, It's like we overthink it so much. We think that it has to be some big ordeal. And, in reality, we can do these things, if we have 5 minutes, just take a moment. This is a little different. I want you to think of a time where you can really just sit down and give yourself, a little bit of space. It doesn't have to mean this is long. It just means this just requires your focus a little more. So, you can say, okay, I do this, when I wake up in the morning and I give myself that, 5 to 10 minutes, or I do this every night before I fall asleep, or I do this in the shower every day. Like pick a time that you can actually like get yourself a little bit of space, or you're like on my lunch break, I sit at my desk and, do this, whatever it may be, just give yourself a little bit of time. And you're going to sit down and you're going to call to your guides and your angels, right? Your ancestors, your higher self, your animal spirit, your team. And you're going to call to them with gratitude and respect and love and ask that they assist you in this spiritual practice of spiritually, psychically detaching from, we're going to use a person, from this person. Okay. Ask for their assistance as you do this and that they work alongside of you and also on your behalf. And close your eyes and you're going to do about 10 deep breaths. So when you do deep breaths, you want to sit up tall and you want to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you breathe out, you drop your shoulders, relax your face, but stay seated, stay sitting tall, put feet on the ground if you can, and take some deep breaths. 10 deep breaths is usually pretty good. And really, when you exhale, exhale any worries, doubts, or fears. Exhale anything not serving you. Let it go. Breathe in fresh air, new energy. Breathe out anything stuck. Breathe in. Fill your lungs. Exhale, empty your lungs, and really take some good, clearing, cleansing deep breaths. And now you have your team, you've calmed yourself down, and now with your eyes closed, you're going to picture the person in front of you and just look at them. And as they're in front of you, you're going to notice that there is a rope that is going from you to them, that is connecting you. It can be a rope, it can be a chain, it can be a white rope, it can be like a spiritual looking rope, it can be an actual rope, it can be a chain. But I want you to think of something of your choosing that connects the two of you. And you're going to look at that person and say, our karma in this lifetime is complete. It's complete. I mean you no harm, but you are no longer wanted or needed here, and I ask you to go in the name of God. And then you're going to cut that cord or that chain or that rope, whatever you saw. You're going to cut it. Get some bolt cutters, a scissor, whatever you find in your hand during this visualization, and you're going to cut it. And then you're going to watch it fall, watch you detach, turn around, and walk away from the person. Our karma is done. I mean you no harm. Go in the name of God. Listen, you can do this with people that you see the next day. It is to release the energetic, psychic, and spiritual connection between you two, so that when you see them, the trigger is not as great. You have detached from them. They're going to do them, and it's not going to bother you. Listen, this could take one session. This could take a year every day, but it is important work. And after you walk away from them, thank your guides, thank your angels, thank your team, seal the session in love and light, and move on with your day. This is spiritual work to detach from a toxic person or situation. Some situations that you may still be in, but you are working on getting rid of that electric charge in your spirit, in your stomach when you engage with this person. You allow the karma to be their karma. You are not entangled anymore. This is relief for your system, for your soul, for your energy. You have to let them be released, and you have to work on letting them be released. And again, listen, this may be someone that you still have to see every day, but you're taking responsibility. You're taking your power back. We are not energetically connected anymore. You are taking your power back from this person, from this situation. You are cutting the tie. You choose. And after you do that, for as long as it takes, then you can work with utilizing love. And again, if you can skip straight to the love part, go, baby, go. But I needed to do something very intense to detach, from the person. Work with this visual, work with your breath, work with your intention. The big mistake here is saying, I'm going to try and let them be. I'm going to try. Have you ever had someone say, like, invite someone to something and they're like, yeah, I'm going to try and come? No, they're not. Try is a no. Set an intention. My intention is to release this toxic charge, this toxic connection, this mental, this psychic connection that won't shake loose. My intention is to release it along with the support of my spirit team, along with the support of my own healing forces, to detach karmically, energetically from this person, even if they're still in my life. It's very healing work. It's very important work, because as of now, this situation is controlling your life. And that's toxic for the body, the mind, and the spirit. So I'm going to stop there. How did this work for you guys? Did you like this one? Please leave me a comment on Apple. Like, seriously, talk to me, guys. It's better at this point than DMing me. So leave me a review, rate it. I hope this served you. I hope you guys will go on my website and take some of my workshops. They have helped people so much. Take my course, The Way. Join me on Instagram at Spiritual Medium Erica. I love you guys. If you take nothing away from this podcast, please take with you. You are so surrounded by support. You are so surrounded by light. You are so surrounded by love. Truly. And you are truly not alone. I love you. God bless you. Way more to come. Take good care. Talk soon.